This is the first in a series of rebellions. The gods of Anor Londo left behind them servants when they went. But I don't think those servants would just wait forever.
Thou that tarnishest the godmother's image, I am Gwendolyn. And thy transgression shall not go unpunished. Thou shalt perish in the twilight of Anor Londo.
Indeed. I think perhaps Gwendolyn mixed up the distinction between a perisher and perishee. This is New Game Plus Gwendolyn, so it's not super easy. Wow. For example, if I fail to block that, I die. Well, rebelling against the gods is tough work. Sometimes it takes more than one try. Alright, well. This painting guardian is quite determined to rebel against the gods. Let's call him Guardian Tarquin. He's not going to be stopped just by being stopped. So as well as the Guardian armor, he possesses the Crest Shield, thanks Oscar. With this combo, he can actually take and tank all of Gwendolyn's damage, which there's quite a lot of, since this is New Game Plus. Also, Gwendolyn's just good at dealing damage in general, aligned with the moon and all. I don't know if the moon is good at dealing damage. Judging by the Moonlight Butterfly, it is. Now that's an interesting comparison, actually. What is the relationship between those two beings, if any? Well, you know, painting guardians don't care. They just guard paintings and rebel against the gods, because sometimes you take a look at the painting, a good look one day at your life, and you're like, what am I actually doing here? I'm kind of keeping a hybrid dragon, I guess, from leaving, maybe, or keeping people from getting to her. It's not clear, but the point is this is not a fulfilling life. It is probably Guinevere who actually had the painting guarded rather than Gwendolyn, and Guinevere isn't even, like, real anymore. So, you know, screw this. It's time to say, gods, go away. And then back up that statement with the Black Knight Halberd. Guardian Tarquin is a big fan of the Black Knight Halberd. It runs in the family. Took too much damage there, but ultimately it's maybe okay. Now the thing about those is you actually have to dodge them even though you can take them, because if you don't dodge them, by the time you get close you won't be able to do as much damage. Yeah, see? If I dodged all of those, I would have killed Gwendolyn. But now, the deity survives to cast another magic missile, which might just finish me off. Yep. One more try then. Keep spellcasting. I'm reloading. by running myself out of stamina there, I actually cleverly avoided the opportunity to attack. Literally running myself out of stamina, ha 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 ha. That was pretty good. That was a nice combo. Even on New Game Plus, for a boss, Gwendolyn does not have a lot of hit points, and using power within makes you do a lot of damage, so... As long as I don't screw up and forget to guard a painting here, I should be okay.
Oh, hectic, swathed in dark,
Actually,
an eternal curse upon thee.
I think you'll find I'm swathed in white. The second part of a pair of rebellions. The Black Knights wander outside the Great Lord's grave forever. It is a grave, even though he's not dead. But what if they didn't just wander? After all, these guys are wearing a pretty appropriate set of gear to defeat him. If only they were really cool and happened to want to link the fire, and also still alive rather than having been burned to cinders and now being disembodied spirits. So that is the hypothesis of Black Knight Tarquin. Gwyn on New Game Plus. I doubt he's anything approaching the difficulty of Calamite, or even Gwendolyn. But still, the old man has to die, for one reason or another. Whether you're a Dark Lord or a Cinder. Ow! I quite like Black Knight gear, but their shield is only really good against fire. It doesn't hold up to great shields. Oh, I should just be parrying them though. Now that you can do. I believe I already have every single Black Knight item. But I'm gonna pick them up anyway. I really shouldn't. It'll only clutter up my bottomless box if I do New Game Plus Plus. You might wonder, why am I still playing, and still playing the same character at that? Well, two answers. The first is that I do actually have some other characters for trying out different playstyles. And the second part of the answer is another question, why are you still watching? Yeah, what do you think of that? Close now. New Game Plus, overall. It's interesting. It's a big jump in monster, enemy, and damage. Sorry, in enemy hit points and damage, or monster hit points and damage. It isn't a big jump in monster enemies, because that doesn't make sense. The enemies are just as monstrous as before. Not more or less so. In some cases they seem to have about double the hit points, maybe more in others. and they do some comparable damage. The Hellkite Drake on New Game Plus is basically impossible to melee for one thing. So overall, the challenge of New Game Plus was your character isn't really any better. If you got good equipment on New Game, particularly if you lucked out and got a Black Knight Halberd, for example, or if you had nearly fully upgraded some armor set, you're not really going to be any more powerful than you were. But all the stats are higher, so basically you have to play better if you want to win. That's all it really comes down to. I found that New Game Plus encouraged the playstyle I'd had with Tarquin originally was a very shield-based, slow one. Which is not the way I've played on other characters, but the music's too sad for me to chatter on and on. Wow! Like, it's actually unconscionable. I can't just go on about nonsense while this is playing. The Lord of Cinder is here. Oh. I didn't know he could do that. Okay, maybe it will be harder on New Game Plus. So if Black Knight Tarquin is to actually prevail, we'll need a smattering of elemental strategy. Knight Solaire of Astora can't help us here. If there's no player character in the Black Knight Rebellion, well, he probably found his own personal son. When I say strategy, I mean I'm wearing the Hornet Ring. It's not really strategic. It's more cruel. He sinks to his knees. I can't bring myself to parry the old man anymore. Succeeding you, Emperor.